Hello everyone. Hi Aniruddha. How are you?
Hey Giovanni, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. All right. So is my audio and video clear, Aniruddha? Just before we get
Yes.
started. All right. Okay, perfect. And it's sharp 7 p.m. So let's start. Hello everyone. A very good evening to all of you, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Shivani. I head the marketing team at Coditas, and I will be your host for today's session. For those of you who don't know Coditas, we are a software engineering company focused on user experience. We help enterprises to build and run cutting edge digital business models. Headquartered in Pune, we have been providing quality solutions to multi billion-dollar brands across the globe. We feel extremely happy to share that we are now a certified great place to work. It is the ultimate employer of choice recognition for organizations all around the world. Today, we are here to discuss a unique initiative by Coditas, which is our front end development bootcamp. I will leave the details of the program for the later part of this session. As the speaker, we have with us Aniruddha Gohad, who is the Associate Director of the L&D department at Coditas. Just to give you a brief about this department, the Learning and Development Department was set up at Coditas last year with a vision to upskill our engineers to industry standard tools, frameworks, and software development practices. It also aims to work on our team's soft skills and people management abilities. The Front End Development Bootcamp is a unique initiative by this department to scout and upskill young candidates and help them boost their careers. To know Coditas better and for some amazing content, join us on our social media channels. We are very active on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, do subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified of similar events. A final note before we get started: if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to put them in the chat section. We will be taking them up at the end of this session. That's it from my side. Anirudh, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shivani. Thank you for that introduction as well. So great to see all of you. Most of what I was supposed to say, Shivani has already covered it. So let's dive into it in its nitty gritty and let's understand what is it that we are trying to do with this boot camp. What is the motivation behind it? Um, so before we start and dive deep into what this bootcamp is actually about, let me just quickly introduce myself. So I have been a developer for the last six years, 6.5 years. All right, I have intensively worked in web development. I have worked on Node.js. I have worked on Angular, React, a little bit of .NET, a little bit of Flutter. So here and there a little bit, right? But mostly on Node, React, and Angular, right? 2 years ago, when I was a developer at Coditas, Mithul gave me an opportunity to kind of train a few freshers, and that is where I really understood that okay, this is what I want to do, and I got into tech education, and I have been teaching. Actually, teaching I have been doing from college, but it turned into kind of a career profession choice when Mithul gave me a chance to do that. All right, and that is where Coditas really shines. I'm not even lying. When Mithul understood that okay, I really want to do this, he gave me the first chance. To come in and lead this L&D department. So thank you, Mithul, for that as well. All right, so let's dive into this boot camp. What is it that we are trying to do? What is it that we are expecting you guys to do in this boot camp? All right. So the motivation for this boot camp really came up when we saw a lot of people when we interview. We see that they really don't come from a React or Angular background. They are trying to pursue React and Angular learning from the web, doing things on their own, but they're struggling because they have their full-time jobs. They don't have opportunities, right? And all of these things are basically hampering their passion to really follow React and Angular. What we thought of when we what the motivation was to start this bootcamp was precisely this: how about we empower people uh, to come into this cutting edge technologies and make sure that we are able to upskill and upgrade all these people and make it as a contribution to the tech society. All right. Having said that, let's dive into it. Okay, so this is a kind of other vertical people might find this offensive a little bit, but this is actually true, right? So just imagine that there is a website, a beautifully designed website. There are beautiful colors, everything is in place and everything. But you click on something, and nothing happens, right? Or if you click on something and something unexpected happens. If you click on a menu, but something else happens, right? That is not something that you want to do, right? As a business person, as a business, when you go to a website, you want that website to be perfectly perfectly experienced, very well designed. Everything should work as it should, right? And that is why we say that front end developers are actually the ones who can make or break the first impression, right? So if you go to the Coditas website and if you find, oh, they claim to create all these high scale websites, but look at their website, right? So how would you feel about it? And that is why we say this, right? Okay, so let's talk about what we are trying to do today. What is the agenda? What is it that we are going to be talking about today, right? So let's first talk about Coditas, who we are, what we do, a little bit of an introduction about Coditas, how we came up with the motivation about the purpose of the program, what is the program in itself, how what will you be doing every day as a trainee in this program, what is expected from you, what is expected out of us, what will you gain as a trainee, right? What are the eligibility criteria, how you might apply, what are we looking at when we are looking at profiles for this program. And after all of this is done, right, it is not like the program has ended. We also have a few things planned for you when we complete this entire program, right? So we'll also deep dive into all of that. All right. Okay. So let's start about who we are, what do we do, what kind of culture do we have, what values do we have, everything. Let's discuss about this, right? So Coditas, so like we've said that Coditas is a team of engineers and designers, and we want to build high quality software products, right? But first and foremost, we are a team. All right, we want to be a collective team. We want to be a people first team who uh, want to do good with their programmers, with their developers, with their BAs, with their designers, with their QAs, everyone coming together and creating a fun journey where it is client based, it is employee based, everything. All right, and that is why we've got the tag of the great place to work, right? And that is just another feather in the cap, right? We work on Node.js, we work on .NET, we work on Java, we work on Flutter, we work on Android, we work on iOS, we work on .NET, all of these technologies, and we've built around and over 300 plus products, I think, at the latest count, right? We have a team of more than 700, I guess, right now, and we've been growing so fast, so rapidly, right? And that is why, because we care, we want to make sure that we have quality developers, quality designers, quality QAs, quality everyone, right? Everyone in the team, we want them to be upskilled, we want them to be uh, in the latest tech stack, right? And this is just a gist, right? So we are in the business for the last 7 years, right? We have done, right, we have all the verticals. We have design team, we have a QA team, we have a development team, and that is why we are now at around 750, I guess, right? So 700 plus team members, right? This is actually not something that is updated, but it is around 300 or so, 300 plus software products, internal products for clients, everything. And recently we have been certified with the Great Place to Work, right? So it is a survey that is something that we have got, right? All right. So what does that say about us? We I will not only give you that, okay, we have got this certification, we've got this these are many products, right? Let me tell you from my experience how why this is a great place to work. All right. So when Mithul and Amit and Piyush and Gaurav came to me with this L&D project, right? I, I did not have any experience of how to go about all of this. I have been a trainer, but how do I do this, right? But they supported me from the very first day. um, I have never seen any one of them say no to any great suggestions, anything that I suggest, even if it is a poor suggestion, they will always consider it because they are truly great leaders, and that is what we want to imbibe in ourselves. That is what we are trying to learn from these seniors, right? And I always have believed that the culture of a place flows from top down, right? And with Mithul being the leader, you always have the culture in the right place. All right, I have no doubt that when you come to Coditas and when you see this team working, you will find it very amazing. All right. Okay. So let's dive into the purpose of the program. What is it that we are trying to do? What is the motivation behind all of this? All right. We want you to train for the right skills. All right. So we've learned. We know that we are training you to build out products on, or we're trying to upskill you into React and Angular. All right, but why React and Angular? And are there only React and Angular? Why not Vue? Why not Svelte? All of these things, right? Okay, so these two, React and Angular, are the most used frameworks. All right, so if you go onto Stack Overflow, if you go and see the trend lines, right, you will find that React is like crazy booming. Angular is not very far behind. Vue is also not very far behind. But who are the top two? React and Angular. Okay, are we going to teach you the syntax of React and Angular? Okay, this is what this is. This is what this is. No, what we want you to understand is that we try to imbibe in you the concepts. We want you to think about what is the underlying concept that Angular has used, that React has used. What is it that we are trying to create a solution for? That is what we are trying to imbibe, right? And using, of course, the most used frameworks. Why do we want to use the most used frameworks? Because they have a huge development base, right? They have a huge community base. React has been created by Facebook. Angular has been created by Google, right? So these two frameworks have a giant community, right? So if you go onto Stack Overflow and you see the number of questions that you are going to get, that is going to be like um, in I think probably in millions as well. But if you have a problem and if you can't find the solution, that is going to be a rare case, right? You're always going to find some sort of an answer, some sort of a support, either on Stack Overflow or on their own issues somewhere, right? There are a lot of great articles on Medium for using all of these tools, right? And that is why we came up with these two frameworks, React and Angular, because that is what we work the most on. That is what the industry is working the most on. All right. The next thing that we also want you to do while training with us is that we want you to be trained not only in a syntactical, methodical way, right? So there are many people who will teach it like this. Ki, this is something that I have given you. Now do it the same way. No, we want you to be basically uh, we want you to basically try something new. This is the pattern that you have. Can you use it in some other way? That is what we want you to do. with the right exposure, right? If you go and talk to anyone in the Coditas team, right, absolutely anyone, from a trainee to a team lead to a partner to Mithun, right, what they will always emphasize on is the concept behind anything. Okay, so that is what we are trying to imbibe in this entire training program, that you are going to sit with the team, you are going to be working with them closely, you are going to be having sessions every single day, 2 hours 3 hours of completing assignments, exposure with the team lead or with a partner. So we have recently had talks from the partners for all the interns. All of these things are going to give you a lot of exposure. How is something that you thought was so easy in some sort of a tutorial, how is it being used in the industry? So the application that we want you to create, right, how is it converted into from an entire big application to a very small parts, right? And how does that help you? So we want you to give that exposure, right? And that is where we what we want to do. What is the that is the purpose of this entire program, right? Okay, so let's come to the most awaited part, right? What is it that you are going to be doing as a trainee in Coditas, right? Because that is what you are here for, right? So when you come to Coditas, the first thing you will notice is that everyone is relaxed, everyone is chill, okay? But your day as a trainee will be kind of intense, okay, because we have around 12 weeks to kind of train you into that industry mold, right? Okay, so you are going to be in office for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and over a period of 12 weeks we are going to have a hell lot of a journey, right? We are going to be doing things, we are going to be doing assignments, we are going to be doing classroom sessions, we are going to be doing um, uh, quizzes, we are going to have evaluations, all of these things. We are going to have exposure visits. Everything is going to be combined, and you are going to have an amazing 8 hours every single day. All right. As a trainee, what is expected out of you is that you do everything that has been told to you. That is obviously a given. All right. But we encourage you to ask questions. A lot of people, or a lot of trainees I have seen, we they come from a very college mindset. This is not something that is going to be parallel to your college or to your college days or something like that. We encourage you to make mistakes. We may encourage you to ask as many questions as possible. And if there is someone who says no, I cannot answer your question, that is a learning curve for them as well. It is a learning curve for us as well, right? So that is going to be what you are going to do as a trainee. Okay, so let's go and walk through the entire program. What is it that we are going to do in the weeks, in the upcoming months, right? Okay, so we basically start from the very scratch, right? We know that you probably haven't had a lot of exposure to JavaScript. You might come from some other background in which you did not really need to use JavaScript. So where we start from? We start from the very scratch. We teach you what a variable is, how to declare a variable, to how to use a design pattern, right? So everything will be covered, right? Be rest assured, your previous employment, your previous knowledge will obviously help you, but we are not going to assume that you know anything. So we are going to start from the scratch, we are going to start from the basic, and we are going to go one by one, and that is going to be weeks 1 and 2. All right. So yeah, as a web developer, as a front end developer, as a someone who wants to develop front end for the web, it is essential that you know HTML and CSS, because that is the basis, right? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, these three things are the basis of JavaScript, of the web, right? Any page that loads on your browser, it is going to be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So that is why in weeks 3 and 4, what are you going to learn? HTML, and not just the basic HTML. We are going to learn HTML in very, very deep. How to structure an HTML document. That is something that I have never seen, probably ever being taught, but it is used in the industry. How to use it, why to use it, right? The underlying question is why to use it, how to use CSS. Now, CSS is daunting, it is difficult, all of this is fine, but we are still going to power through because we know how to get this knowledge, right? Um, we've had a few interns who did not have absolutely any idea about what CSS was, right? They are now doing extremely good. All right, and that is something that can attribute to our success, I can say. All right, so CSS, even if it looks like daunting, we know how to take care of it. All right, okay, weeks 5 and 6, the basis of or the basics of in the entire web. All right, we are going to be doing very small projects, all right, combining HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all right, which is going to give you a deep knowledge of how React and Angular, why React and Angular, why to use it, why are they so big today. All right, the problems with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the problems with developing them with all of these vanilla things. All right, then we are going to go into an introduction of NPM. So if you go to Angular, React, Vue, even a few Node.js frameworks, all of these are what? These are all NPM based. Now, if you don't understand what NPM is, that is completely fine. So it is some tool that, let's say, okay, but we are going, that is going to be the basis for React and Angular, and that is what we are going to learn. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript combined with NPM, how to serve it to a browser, how is it done, all of those things. Take up 7 to 10. That is the core of our training program. React and Angular, right? So all of these till week 6, everything is going to be on a single path, right? Everyone will learn JavaScript, everyone will learn HTML, everyone will learn CSS, everyone will learn what NPM is, what NPM based projects are, how are they created, right? And then we are going to bifurcate you, right, into and into a React track, and into an Angular track. What? Sorry. Yeah. So when you start learning React, when you start learning Angular, you will then appreciate that how HTML and CSS and JavaScript, learning those core technologies, how has it helped you? Right? Because the basis of React and Angular both are what? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Yes. Now the syntax will change. The how you do things in React and Angular might change quite a bit from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but it is also going to be much easier to think in a React way. It is going to be much easier to for people to think in a more Angular way. All right, and that is what we are going to be doing in weeks 7 to 10. All right, and then weeks 11 and 12, that is going to be a very crucial period for all of us, right? Because you are going to be implementing whatever that you have learned. All right, how to make sure that the screen is responsive, how to make sure that everything works the way it should, how to make sure that an API returns something and that the screen is displaying something, right? Everything that you have learned is going to be done via a project or small projects, right? In all of these weeks, from week 1 from week 0 to week 12, right, you are going to have a lot of help. All right, a lot of help. You are allowed to make a lot of mistakes. Making mistakes, best way to learn. All right, there's no other way to learn than making mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you're basically copy pasting code. Okay, so that is what we are going to consider. Okay, but we don't want you to do that. And after these 12 weeks, we sure hope that you are not required to do that, because you understand what the code is going to do, how to implement anything in any language, in any framework, be it React or Angular, right, or even simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. All right, we want you to be able to do that, think about it on your own. All right, so it is going to be more thinking than actual coding. Okay, in weeks 11 and 12. All right, okay, so that is what we are going to be doing in the all these 12 weeks. All right, before going into the next section, let me just grab a sip of water. All right. So the eligibility, who can apply, what is the application process, what happens after the application process has been completed. Take it. So the eligibility is that we want you to be in a tech environment at least for 1 year. Take at least some experience uh, in any tech vertical. All right, we don't mind that you come from any background. Take it at least 1 year should be the criterion. All right, the second thing that we are looking at is that you should be logical and have a great problem solving attitude. Take a We are looking for people who are go getters. We are looking for people who can think out of the box, who can create solutions. All right, and yeah, we are really not looking for freshers right now. There is another program that we have. We call it as entry level training program. If you are a fresher who's watching this, please reach out to the HR at Coditas and inquire about ELTP. All right, that is where you are going to be fitting in. All right, this boot camp is going to be for 1 year. Is there any experience limit? No, we at least minimum 1 year. You can have a whole lot of experience after that. Okay. Okay, application process. I believe that if you go into in the comments, you will find the registration link. It has been sent out to you. All right. After we receive your registration, what are we going to do? We are going to basically look at your CV. We are going to look at what your background is. Are you a good fit? And then we are going to be sending out an email for an interview. All right. What is it that we are going to look at in this interview? We are going to look at your logic. All right. How good is your attitude to solve problems? All right. Whatever is it that you are doing in your field right now. All right. It might be PHP, it might be .NET, anything that whatever you are doing right now. How good are you at that? Right, we are also going to be basically screening all of these things. All right, and that is what after the interview, so there might be one or two interviews, a maximum of two interviews. And if we find that you are a good fit, we are going to be calling you to Coditas for the training sessions. All right, so you've applied, you have gone through the interview, you've been screened, you have been selected, you have gone through the 12 weeks of programs. What are you going to get? Right, what is it in it for you? You are going to get a lot of exposure to how our team works. Take it. How do you get that? You're going to be basically sitting with us for 8 hours. Take it. That there itself you're going to get 50% more exposure than in anywhere, right? Because you're going to be sitting on the floor with actual teams working besides you. All right, you are going to be building, we are going to be showing you how to build an industry standard application in class. Outside of class, you are going to be given assignments, you are going to be given research and development tasks to do something that most people won't teach you how to do, right? So that is that. We might also ask you to build high level designs. Take a we might tell you to create micro front end. So all of these things, right? Maximum exposure, all these latest cutting edge, bleeding edge technologies, all right, concepts, everything we are going to be doing with you. All right, and that is how you're going to learn. Okay, because you're sitting on the floor with the team, you're going to see ki, okay, how is collaboration happening with the clients. Okay, because you're going to be sitting with someone who has worked for 6, 7, 10, 15 years, right, has a lot of experience in developing large scale projects, small scale projects, all right, everything. All right, so you can simply ask them questions. How is it done? What is it that you do? How do you think about a problem? How not to think about a problem, right? What happens when you get stuck? All of this first hand information, right? All of, so that's it, what in it for you, right? The second thing is very very big. Take care. Now that you have the front seat view of how development happens at Coditas, what what do you get? You get an opportunity to join us, right? And that is huge, right? Because you've already learned a lot of things in class. You've learned things outside of the classroom setting, right? Outside of the sessions, by collaborating with different teams, by doing assignments, all of these things, right? And now you are going to be a part of this entire team. How do we choose that, who gets the opportunity? Your performance, right? So if you know that you can perform well, right, you do well, you show us that you are a real go-getter, you are going to be given the opportunity to join our front-end development team, right? All right, okay. Post completion benefits. Okay, 12 weeks happen, you've seen all of the things. Now what? ठीक है, it is not like a online course. खत्म हो गया, after 10 hours, done, no feedback, no evaluation. uh, have I learned anything? No. What are we going to do? We are going to be assessing you every week. So for every week, there is going to be one evaluation that we are going to do. We also have a plan. If you're lagging behind, if you're going ahead, what is the roadmap that you should take? All right, so evaluations are a very very integral part of of learning, all right, and also of this entire boot camp. All right, we are going to be evaluating you in assignments, in how proactive you are, how well your communication is, uh, what kind of performance have you been doing throughout the week, and at the end we are going to have one final interview with you, all right, in which every little concept, every big concept, all right, we are going to be revising it with you. We are going to be asking you if you really understood it. We are going to be evaluating you on that. And you also get an opportunity, even if you have learned a little less than what you expected, you are going to understand what are the key areas of improvement, right? Where do we need to improve? That is where learning starts, right? So we are going to identify for that for you. We're going to give you the areas to improve, where you excel, obviously. So everything, a report card kind of a thing will be compiled, and we'll be sharing it with you. All right, so that is one very big takeaway. All right, second thing, of course, certification of completion, it has to be given, right? We have toiled hard enough for the last 12 weeks, right? We have done the interviews, we have done with our evaluations, everything is great, right? But what do we need at the end? We need some sort of a reward system, right? And that is why we are going to give you a certificate of completion, right? Okay, let's say that this entire training does not turn into a job offer, right? But you will still get your certificate of completion, right? And it is going to help you facilitate your job search, right? So if you show this certificate elsewhere, right, it is going to add weight into your CV. It is going to add weight in your resume, right? All right, okay, and that is it. We always have great seminars. We always are active on social media everywhere. All right, please do follow us. If you have any questions, any doubts, any queries, if you want to apply to our team without having to go through this training program, if you think that if you have the knowledge, right, the website is careers.coditas.com, right? We are looking forward for your resumes, right? All right, just like this webinar, we have one more very exciting webinar on the 31st of March, right? That is on Thursday at 7 p.m. And we have our own teammate, Sharmili Sarkar, with Devakinandani Narayan, and it is going to be on UX writing. So if you're interested in that, please do register for our next webinar. All right. If you have absolutely any questions, all right, please make sure that you have posted them on in the comment section. If you and I'll be answering them right now. All right. Okay. So. How many trainees will be shortlisted for the bootcamp? Okay, so the number is actually yet to be decided for now, but we are thinking about 30 people. All right. The second question is, can experienced candidate get job in React if he's from Angular background? Yes, of course. If you come from any other background, if you're trying to shift to another vertical, that is React or Angular, right? Yes, obviously you can shift. So me being I was an Angular developer for the first 3.5 years. I was an Angular developer. What is it? What did I do? I shifted myself into React. Now I'm both. I can do React. I can do Angular as well. So yes, experienced candidates can get a job in React even if you are from an Angular background. All right. Okay. Girish is asking, I do not have any work experience in software development. I'm currently a technical support representative. Am I eligible to apply for this opportunity? Girish, send in your application. We'll review your profile. If we think that it is a good fit, we will obviously send out an interview. We'll schedule an interview with you. All right. Mukund is asking, can people working somewhere else attend this bootcamp? Uh, it is going to be difficult, Mukund, because see, we prefer it to be offline. We prefer it to be 8 hours every single day. It is going to be intensive. Uh, so I don't know how to put this, but the answer is actually no. All right. So you need to be here for 8 hours. You need to be completely committed to this. All right. What is the starting date of the boot camp? It is going to be in April. Can someone from manual testing background apply? All right. Once again, if you're not sure if you can apply, please do apply. We'll screen. We'll go through your program. We'll go through your profile, and we'll get back to you. All right. Anyone else with any other questions? Please do let us know. Okay. Please give more information on the selection process. All right. So what we are looking at is actual tech background. All right, some sort of coding related background. All right, at least having a familiar background would work in most cases. Why we are looking at experienced people? Because it is because they want to transition from whatever they are doing right now into React and Angular. All right. Once we get your profile, we are going to screen it. We are going to see if you are a good fit. By that we mean to say that we are going to basically look at what kind of a background do you have. Do you have some sort of coding knowledge? What kind of coding knowledge do you have? What is it? Are you excellent in that? Do you excel at what you do? Right? If our team deems that this is good enough for us, we are going to basically schedule an interview with you. In the interview, we are going to be basically looking at your logical prowess, right? How much of a good problem solver are you? What is your attitude towards solving all these questions? All of these things are going to be evaluated. Okay? Very important. We are also going to be testing your communication. ठीक है. If we find through that interview process that you are good, we are a good fit, we are going to be basically sending out an email to you that you've been selected. All right. I don't think there are any more questions. Shivani, can you please take it over?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Aniruddha. The session was really awesome, very informative. I
Thank you
hope
so
we are
much.
going to get, yeah, a lot of applications.
Of course, of
Uh,
course.
yep. So for the audience, we are looking forward to your applications. The link is in the comments. So apply for the bootcamp. And thanks a lot for your time this evening. And also, as Anirudh has already mentioned, if you are interested to explore UX writing as a career or just curious to know what UX writing is, do register for our upcoming webinar on UX writing. The link is again mentioned in the comments. And do stay in touch with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, our next webinars are will be hosted on all these channels. So do also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you are the first one to get notified of a similar event. And lastly, please share your feedback for this session so that we know how useful and how helpful was this webinar for all of you. You can access the feedback link in the comments. Thank you once again, everyone. Thank you, Anirudh. Take care. Bye
Thank you so
bye.
much, everyone. Thank you, Shivani. Bye bye.